Before starting, I'd like to congratulate 4 persons in this audience. I hope they're still here. 4 persons that have demonstrated a crazy engagement on LinkedIn for different reasons. So I'd like to congratulate Bill for being the earliest adopter. Is Bill here? Okay, so it looks like among that audience, you're the first one to join LinkedIn, so congratulations, early adopters. Rob, Julia, I think I've seen Julia over there. So Julia, congratulations. Your profile is the profile who has been seen in the most important matter over the last 30 days. So you must be someone very influent. And finally, Mike. Mike received the most number of endorsements at LinkedIn among this audience. So the mainstream usage of social is only 5 years old. It's quite impressive when we see this, the cover of Times, how social media impact our daily life and participates and played a crucial role in some revolution in some countries. But it's only 5 years old. And at LinkedIn, we believe that if the last 5 years were dedicated to social graph, the next 5 years will be dedicated to economic graph. Some countries in Europe are in a bad situation at the moment. Unfortunately, Spain is recording something like 27% unemployment rate. Greece is recording a crazy 60% unemployment rate among its young population, so this is crazy. And we think at LinkedIn that we may have the power to help to change that. And ultimately, our vision is to be able to create the world's first map economy. In other words, we want to digitalize the world of economy. If we have the opportunity to map every connection, if we have the opportunity to understand every talent, every skills, every knowledge, and in the meantime, we have the opportunity to understand what the companies want at the moment, what kind of jobs they have at the moment, and what kind of skills are required at the moment, we think that we will be able to point out in real time all the economic opportunity for all of us, which should be a great opportunity. This is going to be only possible through our mission. Our mission is to connect the world professional, to make them more productive and more successful. And this mission is more and more important, and is more and more important even today. Back in the 1960s, every worker could expect to have 2 employers in their life. Today, we think that we'll get 13 different employers in our life. So this is very important. Our founder, Reid Hoffman, wrote a book a couple of years ago, The Startup of You, where he talked about the concept of us workers behaving like entrepreneur and business owner. He's saying that we have the responsibility to take in charge our career and to consider our career as a company. We need to assess and reassess in real time where we are at the moment, what's our skills, what are our goals, and how we're going to make it, what are we going to do to make it happen. So we need to behave as a company. This is very important. That's what my networks looks like. We call it an in-map. So if you go on that strange URL at the bottom, you can also create your own network. But that also represents my opportunity. It's my opportunity to connect with people. It's my opportunity to get insights from my network. It's opportunity to share ideas, to collaborate with them, and to eventually build business with all of them. And that's only my first degree of connection. If you had my second degree and third degree of connection, you can imagine the vast influence sphere, the size of the sphere of influence that I can have, which is pretty huge. When you say that and when you see that, we think that internet has totally transformed the way the content is created, the content is shared, and the content is accessed. And at LinkedIn, of course, we think that the futures belong to networkers, which means that when people engage on social network, they engage with a specific mindset. So what are they looking for when they come to LinkedIn? The first thing, of course, is your identity. Your identity, this is your profile. Again, back to what I just said before, if you have 13 employers in your life, you better have an updated resume. But it's also when you are in your current position, it's the first piece of content you're going to show about yourself to your next prospect, to your customers, to your partners. So your profile is very important. The second piece is insight. Insight, it's all about the content that we can provide you. And it's more and more important. Today, our users are, it's all about animation. Okay, done. So our users are consuming 6 times more insights than using the job property on LinkedIn. Again, what we want to achieve is we want to help you to be better at what you're doing today. I don't know if you've noticed, a couple of months ago we launched a new feature called LinkedIn Today on the top of your homepage, on top of your feed. LinkedIn Today, it's your daily newspaper. It's a daily newspaper that we aggregate. We aggregate the content in that newspaper exclusively for you. So your newspaper is different than the newspaper of your neighbor, which is quite interesting because we have 238 million users across the world. So every day we are publishing 238 million daily newspaper. So that's quite interesting to see that LinkedIn moved from a technological platform to the largest publisher in the world. Interesting to see from a content perspective. And finally, everywhere. We're all professional, we're all moving. You're not at your desk today and you want to be able to access all your content and all your profiles. So you can access everything about your LinkedIn profile from your laptop, of course, from your tablets, from your mobile, from any device that you can connect. You can get connected. So how LinkedIn can help you as an individual, you as a company, you as a marketer, to be better at what you're doing? First, probably in hiring. We know that talent is the DNA of any organization. An organization knows that the more talent they have, the better the organization will be to build, to market the product, and to sell the product. The thing is, we also know that the talent, by definition, they are working. So they're not looking for any job. So we call these people passive candidates. And what we do at LinkedIn is we give the ability to your recruiters to tap into that database to find all these passive candidates, regardless where they are in the world and regardless what they are doing today at the moment. And as you can see, we have 238 million members, and there is 80% of these members which are passive. So there is a lot and a lot of talents that are not looking for a job but would potentially be happy to join your organization. Sell. The social selling is about advancing your relationship into the relevant context at the relevant moment with the relevant person. Our founder, again, read of mine in the book I took earlier, describe also the concept of the I to the power of we. And that concept, it's about leveraging the power of the network that you've built and merging your network with your colleague to all together leverage the power of that network. The purpose of that is if your sales organization can leverage the power of their network, then it's very likely that they're going to eliminate the cold calls. Well, who loves the cold calls? Everyone hates cold calls. And replace the cold calls by warm introduction. Because when you are introduced to the relevant person with the relevant context, it is very likely that you'll have more chance to close faster business because your customer prefer to close business with people they know and people they trust. And finally, the market. It's all about marketing. I think something very important in internet, in social environment is for the very first time, your consumer took over the control of your brand. They took over the control of the communication of your brand. So we've seen the slide this morning with the Mr. Santander showing the evolution of the media. 100 years ago, advertising didn't exist. It was all about word of mouth. Then we've seen the creation of newspaper, then radio, then TV. That's basically mass advertising. It's top-down message. You were telling to the consumer what to like, what to love. With the social emergence now, it's the opposite. Because unfortunately, when you look at the numbers, I think the recent numbers I've seen is 20% of the tweets contain a brand. And the bloggers, the real bloggers, in 50% of the case, they are talking about the brand they love or they hate. So the real question is, how do you engage with that audience? How do you make sure that your company presence is enhanced and you participate to the awareness of your company and you build trusted relationship with that audience which is your consumer or your prospects? So that's all about the marketing, because you need to think about that At LinkedIn, we give you the opportunity to enhance your company presence on LinkedIn and to build trusted relationship with a scalable audience. We give you the opportunity to target audience on an unprecedented way. We give you the opportunity to select your targeting audience according to the company size, according to the seniority, according to the industries, according to the groups they're joining, and so on and so forth. So as you can see on that slide with these numbers, we give you the opportunity to connect and to engage with the most affluent, influent, and highly educated population on the internet. Now comes the disclaimer of the commercial. So how does it work with our customers? Our customers mainly use display in their core communication program on LinkedIn. Display is basically, again, showcase on the profile that you've selected according to the criteria that we've talked earlier, and it helps you to raise the awareness or to promote the product that you want. Sometimes we have companies who use display also to promote an event and to invite prospects that they can't reach through their traditional network. We've also recently launched a new product called Sponsor Update that you can see on the left of the screen. Sponsor Update is your ability to share all your content with your users and share your content with the followers. The followers are the users who are following your companies. And eventually to share the same content with people who are not following you, but you think they can have an interest with your content. Every company has plenty of content. You have white papers, you have reports, you have studies, you have analysis. So you have many different sources of content that will help your consumers, your prospects, your customers to understand why your companies make sense, why your product makes sense for their business. And again, it is very important for you to engage with them and to build, again, that trusted relationship. The content will help you to build that trusted relationship. And finally, the email, top right corner. The email is basically, we give you the opportunity to send an email to a very specific person, again, according to the targeting we spoke earlier, and to open a very exclusive communication with a very premium audience. So this is the three main products that our customers are using, which are very efficient. Now this is the commercial disclaimer. It's two case studies. The first one is HubSpot. HubSpot came to us a couple of months ago and wanted to get new leads to promote their service. So, and they have plenty of content. They have plenty of case studies and plenty of relevant numbers for their activities and their industry. So we advise them to use Sponsor Update. We advise them to use Sponsor Update and to target the kind of companies they wanted to acquire, the kind of profile within the companies that they wanted to talk to. And they recorded tremendous results. They recorded a 15% transformation rate from the click to the lead. And they've also, the cost per acquisition was 50% lower than what they expected. So quite great results. The last one is Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific came a couple of quarters ago and asked us to help them to promote their newly designed business class, but on a very specific route, which were West Coast to Asia. So what we've done with Cathay Pacific, we first tried to identify the population in our users who were likely to travel and to use their business class. So if you use criteria as size of companies, seniority in the companies, then you have a lot of chance to talk to travelers. Then if you put on top some filters and you try to understand in that audience who is connected to some groups where they're talking about Chinese, export in China, or tax interest, and so on and so forth, then you have an amazing propensity of chance to get an audience that are likely to travel and likely to travel to Asia. The purpose of this operation for them was of course to raise awareness of this new design class, but also to record recommendation and engagement. Engagement, it's about you as users to like the content or to comment the content or to share the content with a friend or with a colleague or with a customer. And the results they recorded were again above their expectations. So they've recorded hundreds of recommendations almost 1,000 of engagement from the population they've targeted since the beginning. Thank you very much for listening to me. And now I can answer all the questions you can have. Thank you.